guys, Halloween is coming up and I wanted to show you what I made. It's like a little diorama, kind of Halloween diorama. So I was trying to tell a story with this piece, and as you can see, the key obviously says beware. So the premise was that someone had found this box and they were given fair warning, you may not want to open this. So you would put the key in here, turn it, and open it to find so we're greeted by this spooky little guy here, and you can see from our little label on the bottle what he's offering is arsenic. There are the bones of people who have opened the box before, the skulls. We have our candelabra, our spooky hissing cat, the bookshelf with other little potions and things like that, spider webs. Here we have the unfortunate soul who is about to be eaten by maggots. You can see he drank the arsenic and died. And here we have the last victim who opened the door. He couldn't find a way out, so he just hung himself. And you guys can see they have some pretty gruesome pictures on the wall. So the outside glows, as well as the inside. Isn't that so cool? Ah, these are the little skeletons on the ceiling. Oh my gosh. I am so incredibly proud of this. I wanted to take some time and show you guys how I made this Halloween diorama. Kind of just a quick overview of the process and the materials that I used. So I guess I'll begin at the beginning. These stars were just, I think I bought these years ago from Walmart or something. They're just little glow-in-the-dark stars, which, you know, I couldn't resist putting those up there. These little death head moths, I think I bought at Michael's probably around like 2 years ago-ish. I think they came like in a Halloween pack or something like that. You know, just kind of with all the different labels and little kind of odds and ends. This, if you're familiar with Tim Holtz, he has those little China dolls, or I think they call them, I don't know what he calls them, but they're little resin dolls. So I colored it with alcohol inks, and then I cut off the head, and then I glued this little, it's like a little vintage pumpkin, kind of, again, just from odds and ends that I found. So I glued that on there because I thought it was just super cool. This is just like hemp rope. Yeah, and then just hot glued. So she's hot glued here and then on the back, and then this rope is hot glued to her. These skulls, I think I got it, again, a silicone mold from Michael's around Halloween. It's resin and it's got glow-in-the-dark glitter by Martha Stewart. Let's do the key. So the key, again, came in a pack, I believe, from Michael's. And there were different, like, keys. Like, one said poison, beware, lost, found, or something like that. And then they also had these little, like, keyholes that came with them. So to get the key to fit, I actually had to, you can see I had to file it down a little bit to make sure that it actually fit through this keyhole. And it's not perfect, but you know, I mean, it works. So these hinges were the bane of my existence. I eventually just put them in the way that I wanted to put them in. So I just laid, you can see in here. So I laid the hinges down on the outside and then this like flat on this side. And so that's why I have, which I'll get to these, but that's why I have these little covers right here, because the nail, in order to attach the hinges, the nails went through the front of the board. But I just used some like, you know, oven baked clay, and I put them over the nails and painted them black so that they were like, so that it kind of gave it that rivet effect, kind of. And I think it works well. I don't think it really intrudes with the piece. I think it looks nice. So then, oh, and these, you know, so these I tried to actually hot glue, but they wouldn't stay with hot glue, which was really surprising. So I just used Elmer's glue wall. It was like at the extra strong formula. And it's like holding like flipping gangbusters. So then I put this little black, it's like burlap or something like that, just over the keyhole because I thought it looked better. The paper pack is from DCWV Ghost Stories, and these like images are just like too gorgeous. They just worked perfectly to make the wallpaper. Like they're just so incredibly gorgeous. So if you can find this, I highly recommend you guys get it. And you can see how I use them. Pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you just measure, cut. These I think I just glued with normal glue, either that or Mod Podge. So our host here was a figurine from Michaels, you know, one of those Limax figurines. I think he was holding something, maybe in this hand. I can't remember, but I took it out because I wanted to put in this little glass, and this is resin, same here, that I just, it was an empty glass, like, that you would get at those, again, actually, I think I got, like, a majority of this stuff at Michael's. This glass and, like, this bottle and this glass, they're from, like, those little, fairy garden kind of things where, like, you get stuff, or, like, dollhouse furniture kind of stuff. This bottle, the label on here, came from a paper pack. It didn't initially have that on there, so I just found one that I liked and glued it on there. I think I got these little maggots from the dollar store. They're glow in the dark. This little guy, like Target, he's just one of those like rubber skeleton things. So these bones were Tim Holtz, and his, you know, obviously the Halloween kind of crafting resin things that he has like every year. These skeletons were actually buttons, and I cut off the back loop part and then just glued them. I had some vintage dollhouse furniture that I thought, oh, this would be perfect, you know, because I wanted to make it like obviously like a room, and make sure that it had, you know, kind of real furniture and make it kind of super spooky. Candelabra was from Michael's. This was from Michael's. So these little, like, I don't know what you'd call them, little glass canister bottle things, whatever. Those are from Michael's as well. And originally they had these little, they did have these little like colored balls in them, but I thought I'm gonna like really spook these up. So I took some slime and put it in the bottles, and then you can see like put a label on there, and then put the balls back in, especially since this one has like a little skeleton on it. It really gives it that vibe of like, okay, are those platelets? Are those what the heck, you know? And this little skeleton, or this little spider is, I just filled this one with spider webs. This guy has made his home here. And then this, if you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but it's one of these rubber skeletons. This little rubber skeleton here, I just cut off his head and like put it in there with some like, you know, kind of Halloween fall kind of stars, you know, just kind of give it the vibe of that it's a vibe that these are like potions and that kind of stuff. So next we have our frames. The frames were just part of like a kit from Michael's, or like an odds and ends crafting Halloween kit like from Michael's. So again, it's just one of these rubberized skeletons, and cut the arms and legs off and then just glued the torso. The back is part of that Ghost Stories paper pack. And then just to give them a little bit, like to make them come off the wall a little bit, I put foam on the back and then just glued everything, and you know, you can't see it. So I was like, it doesn't matter what it looks like on the back. So these, okay, so this one, I'm like super, super proud of this one. So if you were an 80s, 90s baby, you grew up reading scary stories to tell in the dark, and more scary stories to tell in the dark. So these were, I made packing tape transfers of different scenes in the book and layered them on top of each other using resin. And then that's how you get that kind of like deep effect where some are darker, some are lighter, and then some are in the middle. There's 3 different layers. So I just thought that was like super, super cool. Really proud of myself coming up with that one. This skeleton, he was just some like vintage skeleton. I mean, I love vintage Halloween, and I like, for me, I personally find, you know, the throwaway items are the most fun. Like I'll go to Target and find like the dollar items and just be like totally blown away by them, because I'm just like, these are so cool. I just love them, and they remind me of my childhood and all that kind of stuff. So I decided to use him, and I have to really love a piece in order to use like an actual vintage item, because that's my heart. So this key, another, was also in another part of that paper pack from the key on the front. And then here we have more of our skulls from that same mold paper pack. You can see, because I tried to get really detailed on this, you can see the molding, so be like the crown molding. That's just that's just like dollhouse molding, you know. Just measured it, cut it down, painted it black, and there you go. So, all right, guys, that is a tour of how I made my little diorama. If you have questions, just let me know, and I will be glad to help the best I can. Oh, I love this. Look, it's got that. I love that. Look, it's got that little foil thing. Oh, I love it so much. This is one of my favorite pieces ever. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Happy Halloween.